Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Get off and bring this rowdy crowd to their feet and tighten up, tighten up. Hey Nashville, we're Tennessee, tough, get tough. You can find us everywhere, all across the nation. Rise to the occasion. Tennessee, it's time to tighten up.
And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
What's Shakin' Titans fans? We want to take the time just to thank everybody for joining us live right here on What's Shakin' Titans. I am your host, Gary Bailey, and joining me right over here are your co-hosts of tonight's show, Matthew Maddox and James Ryan. Guys, thank y'all for being a part of tonight's show. Before we get started, guys, let's take care of a few things here. If you are watching us right now live on YouTube and you're not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take this time to hit the subscribe button, as well as turn on all notifications to get the latest from What's Shakin' Titans. Give us a big old like. That will help us out with the YouTube algorithm. That way more people get to see our video. We'll pop up more often. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, we would just want to give all of y'all a huge shout out. Thank y'all for watching us. Take this time right now to share us out to all your friends, to all your groups. and all your pages, guys. We appreciate that. The more you share, the more people get to see us. Sharing is caring. So, guys, unfortunately, we are starting today out with some sad news. So I'm going to shoot this over to our co-host, Matthew Maddox, and, I'm going to allow him to kind of talk on this for a minute. So, Matthew, if you want to take the floor, it's all yours, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Titans Nation. So sadly, after our victory over the Chargers at home last week, one of our own members of the Two-Tone Blue Nation, James Rimber, I hope I didn't slaughter his last name too bad, but he passed away at his home due to a heart attack. It was just sudden and unexpected. So here at What's Shaking Titans, we just want to, give a shout out, a huge condolence to his family, in this time as they go through this, tragic loss, and just take a moment of silence before we start the show tonight in his memory and for his family and his loss. All right, so yeah, man, James was a member of Titans Nation, PSL holder, from my understanding. So definitely a member of our family as well as his own. So definitely want to be with his family at this time. As they go through this loss.
Yeah, like Matthew said, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. It's such a tragic loss, to lose a loved one, especially, at a day where it seemed like everything was going to be okay. So, like Matthew said, here at What's Shaking Titans, we just want to offer our thoughts and prayers out to, James and his family, just hope and pray that, y'all are getting through all this okay. If y'all need anything, definitely feel free to reach out to us, and we'll help you out. All right, guys. So before we get into, our special guest part today, I want to go to our comments real quick. We got Bryce from the Bryce and Haley Show who says, what's good, my guys? So I want to give a huge shout out to the Bryce and Haley Show. Definitely go check them out. They are awesome watch. Bryce is an awesome host. He does a really wonderful job. Super proud of him and all his co-hosts. So, just keep up the good work. Definitely go over to his channel, give him a follow, like, subscribe, do all that cool stuff, guys. And with all that being said, we're gonna hop on over. Let's welcome in Mr. Titan, and let's get this show underway. What's going on, Titans fans? I want to take the time to welcome in our co-host for right now for this segment. We got my nephew Noah Searcy, and then joining us right over here is our special guest, Mr. Titan from the Mr. Titan Show. So, man, want to thank both of y'all for taking the time to join us here today. Man, we have a lot to talk about, so let's hop right into it. Mr. Titan, you seen the overtime win, in the Nissan Stadium right there. What's your thoughts on that game? What's your thoughts on week one? What was some of your favorite moments? What was some of the things that stood out the most to you?
For week one or week two?
Oh, week two. Did I say week one?
Well, you said you went to week two and then you jumped up, so I didn't know.
Yeah, week two. My bad.
Right, man. So week two, it was the bounce back game, right?
Yeah,
Tannehill.
that was Tannehill's bounce back.
Yeah, everyone was freaking out, flipping out, wanting to switch him already. I've told people, just pump the brakes, just relax, just a tad bit. Give it a second. He looked a lot better. He was 2 for 24, 246 yards, 1 touchdown, and one finger roll into the end zone, which, it was nice because people, again, saying that he looked old the first game, said that he was not really mobile. Well, guess what? He just showed you guys. He looked good. I liked Tajay Spears. I liked how he was running between the tackles, looked really confident, was getting that energy, and it was a nice little combination between Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears, and maybe a little bit of a smash and dash we might have in 2023, hopefully, man, because finally I think Derrick Henry has someone that's a really good replaceable backup. You had a bunch of people before come in, and it just wasn't Dion Lewis. I mean, the list goes on and on. On backup running backs that just didn't work out. I mean, Deontay Foreman might have been the closest that we had, and I liked him until we let him go.
I was sad when we let him go.
I like what I see with Spears a lot. The defense. The defense started off hot. The offense started off cold. That's something I noticed, and eventually the offense finally started picking up. Defense had the best defensive plays were basically when you needed it, right? Overtime.
Yep.
The Chargers just tied the game. They go into overtime. They get the ball back, and you're like, oh, God. But the defense did a nice 3-and-out, did perfect in overtime. And you got Folk for the clutch 41-yarder in the rain, which was a little bit questionable, scary because again I was at the stadium and I saw the cloud and I was like, oh man, hopefully they need to start getting going because we're moving down the field, but we didn't know what they were going to do, if we were going to keep running and get better field position. But Folk looked good. Folk looked really, really nice, and the play action pass was the last thing. Play action pass, like I said, is Tannehill's bread and butter. That's the most high percentage of transitions when he's in that play action pass. It's a very, very big probability that the play will be complete. So, and it opens up the run game as well. So I like I said, it was a nice bounce back games. We'll see what happens if we can be consistent. And 0 turnovers. Very important.
Very important.
No turnovers at all. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, man, you brought up some great points to point out from week 2. Starting out with it was a bounce back game for Tannehill. We gotta give him that. For having literally the worst game of his career week 1 to going to having his best game of his career week 2. That's a pretty remarkable flip of the script there. So I have to I wasn't so much saying, hey, let's go ahead and get Tannehill out of there, as I was saying, hey, Tannehill played pretty crappy week 1,
Yeah.
and there's no denying that. My concern was, what if we continue to see this type of play going on throughout the season? One thing I kept telling our fan base over here at What's Shaking Titans is that, right now Tannehill is the best option we have at quarterback. So, do we go ahead and say, hey, let's make the swap? I think it was way too soon. I'm still kind of, at this point, I feel like Tannehill had a bounce back game last week. I want to see if he's able to continue that, especially up against a better secondary, with the Browns. And then Myles Garrett, I know we'll kind of probably get into all that coming up here soon, but one of the things that kind of concerns me that stood out was the offensive line. So my nephew Noah, he plays offensive line in high school. So I want to kind of start out with you on this, Noah. What is your thoughts on the Titans O line? Do you see them being able to gel and actually string together some consistent play here for Tannehill to give him more time in the pocket, keep him from getting sacked so much? What's your thoughts on all that?
Yeah. I got to see the first half of that game, and I can say we started out cold for our offensive line. And that is the biggest downfall for an O-lineman, is not keeping the quarterback safe. I can say every time I've played, we have to keep – I don't know what I seen from is our O-line didn't keep their distance, their gap. They didn't keep their gap protected, and they were able to easily get through. Yeah. I think they really need some more practice overall, and them boys ought to hit the leg sled a little bit more so they have a little more pushing power. Them defense was destroying us a little.
Hey, Noah, are you available to go this Sunday in Cleveland? I need you,
You're gonna have to draft you to the Titans right off the rip. Skip college, go straight to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm the size of y'all. I'm the size of the new center.
There you
go. Oh man. So yeah, Mr. Titan, what's your thoughts on the Titans' offensive line so far this year? And do you think we could see possible growth from this group of core players?
Pretty much it's still a plug and play. Okay, there's you got Nicholas Pierre. He's coming back soon, right after the Ravens game. You got to see where he's going to be plugged in, and they're going to be obviously switching some players around just to see how people fit gelling wise. I mean, it's only the second game. It's going to be the third game of the season. It's a fairly new offensive line. Remember, you got the offensive coordinators too, so there's a lot of new things that are implemented into the game. So that you have to take that for accountability as well. So the only thing we can hope for is that Mike Rabel, the offensive lineman coach, can set these guys up for the best possible outcome, and hopefully they can learn each game. Again, there's going to be some games that's going to be ugly, There's going to be some growing pains. It happens, You got a couple rookies in the lineup, so it's going to happen. But eventually, you want to see them just pick it up. There's less false starts. They all, little by little start getting in sync and stuff. And I mean, there's no help, to be honest with you, as of right now, going against a Myles Garrett. That's a monster over there. That's like going after Jeffrey Simmons. Like it's going to be hard to contain him. I would like to. That's one of the matchups I think we're going to talk about a little bit later, how we're going to contain him and who are they going to put on and how they're going to kind of scheme their way into blocking him.
Yeah, you're up 100% right. Man, if I was to sit here and really think about, how to break this offensive line play down, we've had a couple pieces, coming in and out with NPF, like you were talking about, being suspended for the first 6 games, and then Raiden's actually missing, the start of the season. Then we had, Peter, who was our first round draft pick from this year, who went down with I think it was either injury or sickness. I'll have to go back. Sick. Yeah. Okay. So it was a sickness. And so, which opened the door for Raidens to come in. So we're seeing a lot of kind of like flopping pieces, like you said, plug and play.
Yeah, just plug and play and see what's the best route.
Yeah. And, for the Titans, I think there's a lot of fans, in our fan base who have that huge concern, especially after what we seen last year happen. One of the things I want to kind of talk on before we actually move into our next subject here is the 5 sacks from that happened on Tannehill. One of the things I was watching when I was watching that, there's a couple of the sacks, and I'd have to say 3 of those sacks were solely just that offensive line. 2 of them was hands down Joey Bosa. I mean, that man's a beast, and Tannehill had no chance when he broke through that line. He had no chance.
Was that the one that was the 4th down? It was like 4th and 5, and they went for it, and he hiked the ball, and they just blitzed them, they couldn't even.
I think it was actually one of the first sacks, and it might have been a 4th down play, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because it was a 4th and 5, and we went for it.
Yeah.
And Tannehill wasn't even set in the pocket, and it was a blow.
He was just there, man. I mean, just there, and I was just like, dang, like that dude, and to be hurt and the speed that he brought, man, that was shocking to me. I was just like, wow, too bad he don't play with Big Jeff. But, one of the things I would like to see from Tannehill kind of moving forward, and maybe you can kind of give your thoughts and opinion on this, but, there's the one play where Tannehill ran back, I think it was probably like 10, 15 yards, and took a sack. I'd like to see Tannehill, just kind of sling that ball away in those situations, because we were already, if I'm correct, I think we already had a roughing the passer call at that point. So you sling that ball away, let them hit you late, boom, that gives you more yardage right there at the end. So that's kind of my only thing I feel like I can really kind of critique on Tannehill. Other than that, like, it was an awesome game from Tannehill. You know, it was really good to see him bounce back, man, especially after that week 1 performance. It was crazy. So good to see that bounce back. And then you kind of alluded to the play action pass. You know, man, that defense bit on Derrick Henry. And when they bit, like, to see Burks come wide open, for a 70-yard pass, that was awesome, man. I think that was something that, us as Titans fans, like, we had to see that. We've been like, where's that big play? Where's that big play? Where's that big play? And then boom, it just happened out of nowhere. And I think that's where everything kind of started shifting for this offense. Would you agree?
Yeah, it definitely lit up a spark, not only in the team but also the stadium. The stadium was kind of starting. It was almost like the air at that time. Remember, it was 11-0. So the air, you felt like the air in the stadium was kind of like deflating a little bit. People weren't getting too hyped. The minute that play happened, it just changed the whole course.
Yeah, we were, of course, we have twins, so, we're not able to attend the games this year, because we want to definitely take them with us when we do go. So we're trying to wait till next year when they're a little bit older and can handle the sound and how loud it is. But I'll say this, I had my surround sound on and cranked up pretty good. And when that play happened, like, man, you can hear those, you can hear the fans that were there just erupting, and they brought the energy. Like, so hats off to the Titans fans, because, I mean, they brought the energy to that game. And, I feel like in ways that, you could see multiple time where Herbert was, or whatever his name was, sitting there having to cover, the holes on his helmet, trying to hear the play call. So, Titans fans, definitely affected the game there. It was really awesome to see.
Yeah, it's nice, especially when you can disrupt the other, opponent's QB, help them out. Because they said it too, like the Titans after like interviews and stuff. They mentioned multiple Titans players mentioned how loud, and those players feed off the energy, man.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to play for a dead crowd. That doesn't. What's the point? But it was nice.
Yeah, man. I like. That's the one game I was just like, man, I wish I could have been there, because, like, there's just something about being at one of them games where the crowd is hype that just, like, does something on the inside of you that makes you take it from, like, a 10 to a 20.
Yeah, the last one I went to, that was pretty. I mean, obviously the playoff loss to Cincinnati, I was there. I mean, the crowd was into it, but I mean, the Buffalo Bills Monday night game was pretty intense. That was good.
Yeah, that was last year's, right? Or the year?
It might have been the year after that.
Actually,
the one where supposedly Josh Allen slipped.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Big Jeff got the clobber on him.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Man, I still to this day I don't think he slipped. I think what he did is he ran into a Mack truck and started spinning tires.
He couldn't anymore. He wasn't gonna get past Jeff. So.
Yeah. So guys, let's get into week 3 real quick. We're gonna start out kind of just capping over some moves that the Titans made. So the Titans have promoted wide receiver Mason Kinsey and linebacker Chance Campbell from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Titans have placed wide receiver / returnman Kearis Jackson on IR. And then we also waived linebacker Otis Reese. So what is your thoughts on all these moves? What's your thoughts so far on Kearis Jackson, the whole 9 yards? What do you feel like elevating Mason Kinsey could do to this team? Because I think Kinsey's a very versatile player and can do a lot for us.
He could. I mean, he's been on the practice squad for a long time. Jackson being on IR kind of bumps up. He was someone that was up and coming, promising, I think, especially in our kick return game, because it's been lackluster in the past couple of years. We hadn't had a decent punt returner in a while or kickoff returner. So the fact that he's bumped into IR, that's pretty much the main reason why Kinsley is going to be bumped up to the 53-man roster. Probably you'll see him a lot with the punt returns and kick returns, which he's done a solid job for the most part. And hopefully he could make some plays, in the field with the offense. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. And Noah, what's your thoughts on some of these moves?
No, I have to really agree on most stuff y'all said because Kinsey, I believe, if I said his name right, but
yep.
I believe he is a very versatile wide receiver, and I think if we end up getting him to that stage, he could really help us a lot this year.
Yeah. So, Kinsey was brought in, of course, mainly for special teams due to the injury of Kyrus Jackson. When I say versatile, I'm really saying that because, Kinsey can play a lot. He plays for our practice squad. He plays running back, plays safety. He plays quarterback, wide receiver. So he has that versatility, in him where he's able to kind of plug and play and wherever we need him. But yeah, I'm really kind of curious to see if he's able to, produce for us, especially on special teams. We got to put more yards up in special teams on punt returns. I think that's kind of a key thing for our offense. Let's get them out of the backfield and get them in midfield range. The more we can do that,
just get them in better position, just better field position in general.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be so important, because then Tannehill's not having to throw 70 yards under pressure constantly. Henry ain't got to worry about trying to take it through the midfield. Of course, I feel like Henry does better when he's up in the red zone than he does kind of in the middle of the field or backed up in their own end zone. So, what's your thoughts on, Chance? I think Chance Campbell. Yeah, what's your thoughts on Chance Campbell?
Well, the linebacker core, I think we need a little bit more versatility. I think we need a little bit more rotational players, especially that. So, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it's something I would like to see, especially from a player from a practice squad, come in and see them shine or see what they can do. So I'm interested to see what kind of plays he comes up with and how he looks on the field. So
yeah, I think it's going to be kind of cool to see him out there. One of the things we didn't talk about earlier was the secondary, and it really just hit me. So you want to kind of talk about your thoughts on the Titans secondary and how they're doing? I know, and I want to say this. I do agree with you when you said that, the Titans defense came out, when they came out when it mattered most last week, that fourth down to have that 3 and out. If you go back and you watch our secondary play, you're talking about some on point play. Like they shut it down. They didn't give him no room to complete any passes. I mean, he had nowhere to throw the ball. And then by the time he had a chance to throw the ball, we were closing in on him. So I think they came to play. I feel like they were still kind of working on knocking the rust off. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, for the most part, I believe so. Remember, you have Christian Fulton, plays from game to game. He's still hurt, so you're not getting a good full rotation of your starters and stuff. So the less they play together, the more in sync they will be. But as that goes on, you still have to. You just can't let them beat you over the top. What happened in the Saints game, right? When the team needed, we just scored a field goal. They're up by 1. They still got a little bit over 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We need a big stop, and then third down they drop back and they toss it right over our heads and get good momentum. So you can't have anything like that. But as for the secondary, it's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. It might be one of the things that's probably the most concerning in the defense. I think our front seven's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
As long as the front seven, that front seven can keep that pressure on the quarterback and make a good play on it, then it gives us our secondary a little bit better, because everything, it starts from the back and it moves forward. So it goes from your defensive end, your defensive line, then it goes to your linebackers, the safeties, all that. So as long it's everyone's job, but it all starts off with Jeffrey Simmons, Harold Landry, D'Amico Autry, all those guys that work forward. So like I said, that's probably the linebacker core, but safety's up there is the most concerning, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, one of the things I want to kind of hit on it, and we're gonna kind of try and speed this up a little bit because I already have Mr. Titan here over our time limit, so we're gonna try and get through this the best way we can because we both have kids, so.
I talk a lot, bro. I'm sorry. I'll just keep going.
Dude, me too, man. I like, next thing you know, we've been on here for like 4 hours, just still going like we just started talking. So, Noah, do you have anything you'd like to say real quick before we move on to our next part?
Other than what y'all went over, I really think our secondary has it down and pat. We have a small little improvements we need, but we really had their receivers locked up.
Yeah. So, I definitely have to say, secondary definitely has room for improvement. For the most part, they had glimpses of doing, their job, sticking to their man. I know Titans Rossi came on Monday for our post-game recap, and, we kind of were talking about how we would like to, quit seeing them play like 10 yards off. I feel like when we see them playing like 10 yards off, we're getting eaten by the pass game. So, maybe that's something, that's actually a thing. I'm not sure. I'm not a defensive coach, so don't ask me.
Well, the reason why they play so far off is they want to keep the ball in front of them. They'd rather not get beat behind them, so they try to keep the ball in front of them. But the problem with that is if you're playing zone, which is mostly what they're playing, you have Herbert like he did last game. He's just going to be picking you apart with like the slants, the slant. I mean, if you saw that, those 5-yard dink and dunks, that's all he was doing. He wasn't throwing anything past 10 yards. It was just throwing slants. And that's the only problem with, playing zone and playing that coverage is that you allow yourself, and if we're not doing any blitzes or anything like that, it kind of gives and if there's no pressure to the quarterback, it kind of gives the quarterback a little bit of time to do that. So that's the reason why they kind of play 10 guys, like they're playing so off of them. Because trust me, I've looked into it because I was like, why are we doing this? Why is it every time? But it's so they don't get beat, the deep ball like over their heads. So that's the reason.
Yeah. So guys, with all that, Mr. Titan, let me ask you, man, what are a couple of key matchups you're looking for in this game against the Browns?
Well, the defense is going to be on both sides, okay? So we can do like vice versa. Like, so the defense, how is our offensive line going to keep up with their defensive line, their defense? Because again, the Browns' defense is pretty solid for the most part. We've got some killers on the other side of the ball. So just to see, like I said, how they match up with with Myles Garrett. How are they gonna double team him, or what's the procedures? What are they gonna do with that? And then on the other side is our defense. Because I think it's gonna be mostly for the game. It's gonna be a mostly defensive battle. I think it's gonna be a kind of gritty, ugly, low scoring game. But it's the offenses are gonna struggle. I think on both ends, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Both
man. I agree with you there, 100%. Of course, I've been saying it. I said it about last week's game. I said it was going to be a defense-heavy game, and it turned out to be a defense-heavy game. It wasn't real high scoring. Like we had a few Titans fans commenting saying that they expect us to win by like 24 points on top of whatever the Chargers had. And I was just like, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a one possession game. It's going to be real close. It's going to be a defense heavy game. I see that playing out here as well. I think some of the things like you talked about is this defensive front is very solid, but my concern is they also have a solid secondary. So I think this is going to be a real test for Tannehill. It's going to be a real test for our offensive line. It's going to be a real test for our running backs. It's going to be a real test for us all over the board. And it's going to be awesome to watch this game, to see how our guys respond to the adversity. Are they able to, if they have a bad play, to get out there and bounce back? It's going to be cool to see that, especially against such a high-pressured defense. And then, like you said, vice versa, the Browns' offensive line isn't, much better than our offensive line right now. So, and then we have Big Jeff, we have Tierra Tart, Travis Gibson, we have, Arden Keys. We have all these solid guys who – will be making plays for us. And, how are they going to block these people? Who are they going to double block? I really love your that those are good matchups, is these offensive line with these, defensive fronts. It's going to be something to watch for sure. Noah, what's a key you have, man? What's the key matchup you have?
I really think Big Jeff is going to do real good for our defensive line, but the Browns defense is going to be real tough for our offense to keep up with. From the look at the Chargers game, we're going to have to step it up before we're able to beat them by 24 points or above.
Yeah. I'd say this. I feel like Deshaun Watson hasn't really been – ever since he's came back to the NFL, he hasn't looked like himself. He hasn't played like himself. Definitely he played on Monday Night Football this past week, and if any of you got to catch that game, you can see he was struggling getting the ball to his receivers. Of course, the Steelers, I'm kind of nervous about that game, I'm not gonna lie. But the Steelers have the
offense is terrible.
Yeah,
the defense is good.
So that really concerns me. In a future game now, I still call the Titans to win that game just because I'm going for my boys. But man, I think we'll be able to take advantage of Deshaun Watson and his I don't know, I guess I'd say like inclined play of late. Would you agree with that, Mr. Titan?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
100%.
So guys, definitely let us know in the comments, what you're thinking. Let us know, what are some key matchups you're going to be out there watching. One other thing I would like to kind of put out there as a key matchup isn't really a matchup on the field, as it's going to be a matchup against coaching staffs. So I want to see how, Tim Kelly really goes against the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator. I think that's going to be really kind of key to see how Tim Kelly's going to call this game. A lot of fans were complaining because of Tajay Spears and the amount of snaps he got week one. And then they flopped it over. Henry, of course, Henry had a total, I think, of 20 or 25
25
targets,
carries, 80 yards.
Yeah, and 25 carries, 80 yards. So, of course, when you're including Henry that much, it puts us in a better situation to win. Spears is still going to go out there and ball out either way. So, I agree with you. You said earlier, smash and dash, man, and I said it last week during the game. I was like, oh man. Like, we are literally watching Smash and Dash 2.0 here. So, it's going to be awesome to kind of continue to watch that. But, yeah, so that's going to be a matchup that, I really want to see play out, is Tim Kelly's play calling versus the Browns coordinator, defensive coordinator. What's your thoughts on Tim Kelly so far?
He played the first week. It was, you get new offensive coordinator. I mean, he should know what his key pieces are, right?
Yeah.
He didn't play Derrick Henry as much as he wanted to. Took Derrick Henry out on third down. His play calling was okay, not so great the first week. Second week, he opened up a little bit more of the play action pass, which worked out. Had Derrick Henry involved in the offense a little bit more, and it was good kind of seeing him and Spears, getting some carries within, and then in the second half, he decided to use Derrick Henry a lot more often. Week 1, Derrick Henry in the second half was a no-show. Barely gave him the ball. More of it wasn't too. The plays itself weren't too bad either. I just think when he gets into the red zone, he still needs to find his rhythm, and his go-to guy. We struggled a little bit in the red zone, which a couple of years ago we never did. That was our bread and butter. Once we got in the red zone, we were scoring. So, but overall, the second week wasn't bad. I'd like to see a little bit more. Let him see. It's going to be a tough task for him. Week 3 going against another tough defense. But that's this is your make or break moment. Like your offensive coordinator, you have to figure him out. You have to game plan according to him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I agree with you there. Definitely could see the inconsistency, week 1. But then week 2, you just like Tannehill, you've seen that bounce back from play, with his play calling and how he was utilizing each player. And I think that's just going to continue to grow, the more that he's getting this experience with our players and, how they're able to go out here and perform. And
getting a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
Week after week, seeing what he has.
Exactly. So, all right, guys, let's do this real quick. Let's give our Week 3 score predictions. Noah, we're going to start with you. What is your Week 3 final game score prediction?
I believe it'll have us winning 22-18.
22-18. All right. How about you, Mr. Titan?
All right. I've been going with the same one, so I can't switch it from like my show too. So I'm just gonna go. I was gonna pick. It was gonna be. I think it was. Hold on. Let me see on Twitter for a second. I forgot what I put. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. Right?
You're good.
I think I don't want to give the wrong thing, and then people are like, "What is?" All right. So I said it was gonna be 20-17 Titans.
20-17.
Yeah,
I could see that. I was gonna say probably 21-14.
Something like that.
So yeah, I was
it's around the teens area. It could be 27-17. It could be 24-10, 24-15. I don't know. It's in that area. I don't think we're scoring more than 20. And
I have to agree with you there. And I think that's key. Is I don't think we're getting more than 20. 21 at most. Because of that. But I definitely see that gap is going to be a 1-score game, whether it's by a touchdown or a field goal. That's to be seen. But man, it's going to be if you like defensive games, this is going to be one to watch for sure.
Yeah.
So Mr. Titan, I know that you recently had a, the Mr. Titan event, you want to kind of, recap that and, talk about that real quick?
Yeah, man. It was a great turnout. It's my 3rd year doing it. I do it every year for the home opener. So the very first home opener, it's usually when the Mr. Titan event happens. Like I said, it had DJ, we had karaoke, we had trivia, and the best part, we have raffles. So a lot of giveaways. One of the 2 giveaways we had was a Jeffrey Simmons throwback Oiler jersey. We had an Earl Campbell signed jersey that we're giving away as well. We had people from, different, different organizations. So like I had James Ryan, he donated a couple of his pictures to do raffles. I had another friend of mine named Chris who does puzzles, and he does like mugs and stuff, and he had Titan and Oilers mugs and Derrick Henry like puzzle picture. Like it was cool. So we had that. We had license plates. We had signed footballs. We had a Vince Young 8x10 picture that we were giving away. We had a Jeffrey Simmons 16x20 signed autograph thing. So it was fun. Like I said, not only that, but just the environment itself. Again, all Titan fans are always welcome. They had food, drinks, and just music and watching the game and just hanging out with each other. It's a really nice way to start off the season. Like I said, it's my third year at the Rudder in Hendersonville. A great place. If you've never been there, it's right off the marina, so you got the lake view. I rent out the whole back of that restaurant, so I mean it's just Titan Central in the back, so it's a good time, man. And like I said, the outcome, the amount of people that showed up this year was excellent. Again, we kind of went over what I expected for like body count wise, so like it just like I said, from year 1 to year 3, like it's continuing to grow. It's awesome. So I'm one of the things I'm really proud of, not only with the channel that I did, but the event. It's been something that's really cool.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm actually looking forward to making it there next year. I know you invited me last year, and then me and my sister, when we kind of began What's Shaking Titans, and then we just had a bunch of stuff just kind of hit us, and then now this year my wife was we just had twins, so yeah, yeah, it happens. So I'm really looking forward to actually attending live, man, and kind of getting to actually meet you in person. It's gonna be awesome. And you were talking about James Ryan, so James Ryan will actually be joining us here in a little bit, guys. We'll be continuing this episode with our 2 new co-hosts, Matthew Maddox, aka Titan Superfan Blueface, and then also our other new co-host and James Ryan. So James Ryan's son is actually also a part of our team here at What's Shaking Titans. So Mason, so huge shout out to all of them. Guys, we have an awesome episode planned for y'all, so we'll be getting to the rest of that in just a little bit. But yeah, Mr. Titan,
I'll try to jump in on that, and I'll message you guys on the chat and stuff, just say what's up and try to watch it a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Like I said, we got some pretty cool topics to talk about. We're gonna be bringing the energy. Sorry, the wife's calling. So.
Hurry up.
Yeah, she's like, get off that podcast. You're gonna be streaming it too later. So yeah, there we go. All right, guys. So real quick, Mr. Titan, camera and stage is all yours, brother. Tell everybody what you got coming up, and and where they can find you and all of that.
All right. Well, like I said, you can find me on the Mr. Titan channel. It's on YouTube. You can look me up on Twitter, or like the new thing is X at Mr_Titan5, or follow me on IG as well as Mr. Titan5. Nice and simple. Like I said, doing pre-game, post-games, and then I have a couple of former Titan players interviews on the way, so just be on the lookout for that. So.
Definitely, man. So y'all, definitely go over there, give them a follow, give them a huge like. There she goes again. I do apologize. There we go. Okay.
You better hurry this up, man.
Right.
That's unforgiving right there.
Right. I'm telling you. So anyway, guys, definitely go give Mr. Titan a follow on all his platforms. He's a great watch. You were Mr. Titan. I want to give you this huge shout out real quick, but you were the first person to actually reach out to me when we first started our podcast, and man, to have you actually reach out to me, that really inspired me to keep pushing and strive for better, better things, better ideas. And so just want to give you a huge shout out and say thank you for that, man. Definitely keep up all the great work. I love watching your stuff and your content. So, with that being said, guys, we will we'll catch y'all next time. Tighten up.
Thank you so much. Tighten up.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's Shaking Titans. Once again, I am your host, Gary Bailey, and then joining me right over here are your co-hosts. I know it's kind of hard to see them, but we'll get it right there. There we go. So we got Matthew Maddox and
Matt Massey.
Mac Maddox, right?
Matt.
Yeah, okay, Matt. So we got Matt joining Maddox over here, guys. So we had our co-host James Ryan on with us. Unfortunately, while we were playing that video, he received a phone call with a death in the family. So, real quick, just want to stop and take the time to offer up once again our thoughts and prayers. This time to him and his family. Once again, guys, if y'all watching this at a later time, y'all need anything, we're a family here. Feel free to reach out. But with all that being said, guys, the show must go on. So let's do this, all right? So, man, we right there we heard some awesome takes by Mr. Titan. Want to take the time to thank him for coming on. Thank our other co-host Noah for taking the time to doing that recorded segment with us. But with all that being said, let's get into some roster moves here. So, Kearis Jackson goes down with an injury, so the Tennessee Titans move Mason Kinsey up to the 53-man active roster, as well as Chance Campbell. And then, do you remember who they cut?
I know the who was it? I can look it up. Hold on. I know it was one of the DEs.
Otis.
Yeah.
Otis Reese. Yeah, that's who it was. So they cut Otis Reese. Campbell,
yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I felt like as far as Kearis Jackson goes, had a lot of promise, a lot of upside, especially at the return, position. Unfortunately, he goes down with what seems to be a ankle injury. So, hopefully he's not out all season. There have been a couple reports from some unknown sources that I have yet to confirm. But some people are starting to say it could be Achilles, kind of like what Aaron Rodgers went through. So if that's the case, he's out for the year. So, fingers crossed that that's not the case. Man, Maddox, what is your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, man, I definitely hope it's not the Achilles injury. That sucks. I don't want to see anybody go out with an injury like that, man. That's rough. But yeah, man, I like the move by the Titans to move Mason Kinsey up. Maybe in the special teams unit, he can get us some production. Be helpful to the roster. I know he's kind of been in and out. On the practice squad, back to the 53, back to the practice squad. Kind of just moved around a bunch, so maybe this is his chance to kind of prove himself and get in with some of these guys who are making plays this year, like Nick Westbrook is, and like Chris Morris, and maybe he can make plays of his own.
Yeah, definitely excited to see Kinsey get a shot out here, on the 53-man roster. A very versatile player, like I was saying earlier with Mr. Titan. Being able to play multiple positions, he brings a lot to this team, even though he hasn't been on the 53-man roster. So really excited for this opportunity for him. Really excited to see him return some kicks here. And, hopefully if he is able to get in the receiver lineup, it'd be kind of cool to see him. ESPN also just confirming that we will be seeing DeAndre Hopkins in this game, even though, he was limited throughout the week in practice. So, guys, it's going to be an awesome game. Look for a lot of Burks. Look for some D-Hop. It's going to be an awesome game. So, with all that being said, man, let's talk about Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb goes down Monday night with a nasty injury. I think this is going to be the second of its kind to him. One happened in his college career in 2015. It's nasty. I was going to put the image up, but guys, I don't want to look at that any more than what I have to. So yeah, it was nasty.
That was rough, man.
Definitely rough. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him. Hopefully he'll be able to, come back from this and still continue to play, the game that he loves and dedicate it most of his life to. So, real quick, want to also offer our condolences to him and our thoughts and prayers out to him, because that's a nasty injury. Matt, man, what's your thoughts on that injury?
Yeah, throughout the NFL with any player, we for a speed recovery. Whoever has to step up, like Vrabel says all the time. Whoever has to step up
That's kind of, or at least as of late, it's a feed off. You know, hopefully as like I said,
Yeah, so guys, I don't know if y'all are able to fix it, but we were getting some interference there. It was going in and out with that. So not 100% sure of everything you said, but I think it was along the lines of he was saying really it's like the next man up mentality that, the Browns are going to have to take that same mentality, next man up. It's unfortunate that, one of their key players goes down. Not so much for the Titans as it is for the Browns, but, still an injury is an injury, and it's unfortunate wherever it is. So, it's something that I think, will definitely play some dividends in this game. Maddox, man, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So let me ask you this, bro. With Chubbs being out for this game, man, do you see it, affecting the Cleveland Browns? And if so, how much of an effect is this going to cost for the Browns?
Man, they signed back Kareem Hunt, I think. So getting Kareem Hunt back will definitely, kind of help them still balance their offense. But without Chubb being in the game, man, Chubb's one of the best running backs in the league, hands down. He's right up there in the argument with Derrick Henry. You see all the little, graphics and stats, and everybody talk about it. So it'll definitely hinder them, I think, especially with this Titans, defense, man. We're not a team that you're going to run the ball against easy. So to have your, elite tier running back, just drop out on you, unfortunately, like you've said, I'd wish injury on nobody. But, yeah, I definitely think that, it opens up a lot for us. We stop the run consistently every week. Jeffrey Simmons, Pierre Tar, you got Autry. Now you got Key, you got Al Shazier. I mean, Landry's back. So, yeah, I definitely think that was huge for us, man. We were going to have a long day with Chubb, I think. So, yeah, that's huge, man.
Yeah, it was going to be a long day. Like you said, Chubb has definitely gotten the best of our defense. Over the last few times we faced him, again, to like what we were saying, it's unfortunate that someone goes down with an injury. But, with that being said, I think, and, correct me if I'm wrong here, man, but I think this is going to open the doors for the Titans to have a very solid game defensively. I think the pictures on the wall for them to be able to get out here and, not only affect the quarterback, but of course, Titans have definitely a top 5 run defense. So, like Maddox was saying, they're not able to fully run the ball on us. They're, so, man, I really believe this is going to be a really defense-heavy game, but I think Titans defense will definitely get the edge for this game. So, man, what's your thoughts on that, Matt?
Yeah, so it's Matt Massey. Sorry. What was the question? My thoughts on that?
So the question basically was, with Chubb being out, and considering the Titans have like a top 5 run defense, this game tomorrow should be set up for the Titans defensively to go out and have a really successful game. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. We just got that. Once the get started, we got to keep that tenacity and that grit to keep going on defense, quarterback, make those rushes. I think they got some things going on with their offensive line as well. The Cleveland Browns do. So hopefully we can find those situations and take advantage of them and get to Watson quite often, get him under pressure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The Cleveland Browns do have a struggling offensive line, a lot like, we do here in Tennessee. So, I think it's going to be a big day. Big Jeff, Tierra Tar, Arden Key. Hopefully we see some Travis Gibson, but these guys up front, they're going to be able to feast. I said this earlier during the Mr. Titans segment. I believe personally that Deshaun Watson has been in a state of struggle ever since he's come back into, the National Football League. And, he just really hasn't seemed like, the old Deshaun Watson that we knew from Texas. Yeah. And if that's the case, we'll definitely be able to go out here. We'll be able to get some stops, hopefully some interceptions off of him. On Monday night's game, he definitely was underthrowing receivers. I really didn't see him overthrow any receivers too much, but you can see that, the Steelers were able to get pressure on him, and, he was all over the place at that point. So one other key note I want to make about Deshaun Watson is late in the fourth quarter, he did kind of stumble off the field. So, there could be something with that. So that could be something to keep our eye out on, as he might not be 100% healthy either.
That's true.
Yeah. So, Maddox, man, you got anything you want to talk about real quick?
Watson, we got to look at the Browns O-line. The Browns O-line awful against Pittsburgh. Just about as bad as we did last year. So definitely get some pressure on Watson. I don't know if you've heard anything about like suspension talk for him, like with the officials or something in the game with the Steelers or something. So I don't know if they're going to go through with the suspension or not. But that's something that could be possible too to look at.
So I've seen I think it was a post or a tweet, one of the two, about that. And there's nothing coming against him because basically the referees get to say whether or not, they felt like it was him trying to, intentionally, put his hands on them and stuff. And I guess basically what they were saying in that situation, that they felt as though, it wasn't nothing he did wrong, even though, you could clearly see the man, shoved the ref. So, I don't know. I do know that according to that post, nothing's going to happen to him. In a way, this is just kind of going out there. So this is a way out there question, but you think that could show some bias towards certain players in the league? Or do you think that, maybe he should be held accountable? Or, what's your thoughts on all that?
You got to look at other players, man, that you got to look at that. Like, I see where, people say, oh, well, he wasn't, actually fans of other teams, but, I'm sure all the Browns fans are ecstatic. No suspension for Watson. I'm sure they're, happy about that. But it's, fans for other teams look like that, like, well, it's obvious. Like, what do you mean he's not getting, any type of punishment, So you get it to happen in another game later in the season that, then a player does get punished for that. Then I guess, it could draw, a lot of controversy that way.
Yeah, definitely, man. Matt, what's your thoughts on everything, man?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Maddox. It could be controversial to say it like this, but I feel the same way if the referees keep getting away with the controversial calls or miscalls.
Talk about it.
I feel like it's the same scenario. It's obviously two different things, but it's the same scenario. Like somebody asks, they need to be held accountable. Like my thing is if they can clearly call the higher up or the higher up refereeing, and they're on TV saying yes, this should have been this call. So why are they not able to call down? Hey, no, you change that right then and there. But it continues to be a thing that just happens, or else it's going to keep progressing. We've seen in today's thing where it contradicts the outcome of games or halftime situations or whatever the case may be.
Man, you're spitting facts right there on me, bro. No, legit, like Maddox can kind of vouch for this. We talked about this with Rossi from the Titan Rossi show. Want to take the time to give a huge shout out to the Titan Upload Network and Titan Rossi's for joining us on Monday. It was an awesome show. We got some good laughs in, man. We talked about some great topics. Was able to get a great recap in. And real quick, guys, I want to give a plug right here. So if you are interested in entering a giveaway to win a free Titans shirt and hoodie, definitely go on, check out the Titan Upload Network on Twitter. You'll see posts on my Twitter page. You'll see posts on all the podcasts from the Titan Upload Network. But definitely, guys, today's the last day to enter for this giveaway. All you got to do is go on there and follow Titan Upload Network as well as follow Homage, and then comment hashtag Homage giveaway to enter for a chance to win a shirt and hoodie of your choice, which is I think a total of like $100 and maybe $20 worth of valuables. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know it's up there. But guys, definitely go on over there, enter to win that. The winner will be announced during halftime tomorrow. So guys, definitely if you want to be entered to win that, take this time to go on over there. With all that being said, man, you're right, dude. We had a little segment where we were talking about the refs and just how poorly it was and options moving forward for them. One of the things I said that the NFL could do is possibly, have a on scene referee, like how we have that on the referee in New York who's always watching, who's on call for the broadcast. We definitely could use one of them on who has to review all the plays and stuff.
Right.
At
least be able to implement an overturn of a call or whatever the case needs to be. At least be able to take that situation right then and there and handle it versus it being the topic of conversation about how a couple of games ended, you know what I mean, throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we could always go with Maddox also had this suggestion. We could always make it a a QR code scan for the fans to decide.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you were referring to last week's episode. Actually, I'm on the likes and the comments, and also, I watched it. He's a brother to me, so I was very excited to hear about him being on a podcast, and it's also an honor to be able to be a part of it this week as well. So I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, no problem. I appreciate you coming on. Man, unfortunately, like I said, we did lose a co-host right in the middle of this due to a death in the family. So once again, want to give a huge shout out to him. But yeah, man, it's awesome to have you on here. Maddox, man, I'm so glad that, we picked him up as a co-host, and, it's, something, I know I won't regret. So real quick, I'm gonna go to the comments. We have, Clowny from, Clowny Super Bowl. He says, I want to see, D-Man does as good as a guest on the show. So yeah, man, D-Man. So yeah.
So y'all can call me Redman. My name, to get it clear, I know it's been misconstrued, but that is by accident, probably back in action or whatever. But y'all can call me Redman.
Yeah, Blueface and Redman.
Yeah. Blueface and Redman. There we go. So yeah, man. Definitely. We'll sit here after we get done with this live stream and maybe talk about actually adding another co-host here. So. That'd be pretty dope. The more the merrier. We love to grow our family here. The more people we have, the easier it is to get people filled in when other people have to miss. So yeah, man, definitely. So Maddox, let me ask you this, bro. Who are some key players on the Browns defense that the Titans need to keep their eyes on tomorrow?
Man. Got a mile-long challenge coming, man. That's a good question. So, yeah, man, Myles Garrett, definitely going to be a problem for our offensive line. I think Peter Skronsky is still out. I think that's still going to be one of our key players that are out for tomorrow. Obviously, one of our best offensive linemen. So definitely going to be a challenge stopping Myles Garrett, man. I mean, the guy did great last week. I don't know if you saw any of his highlights from last week, but I mean, he's an absolute monster. Jim Schwartz is a guru on defense. That Cleveland front four is constantly moving around, man. They're constantly getting pressure. So definitely going to be a tough task for our offensive line tomorrow, man. Need to get some, protection for Tannehill. We've seen this. We've seen this. So without that protection from Tannehill, man, might be a long day.
Yeah, and they also have a pretty stacked secondary as well. Their secondary isn't no joke. So I think there's quite a few different pieces here on this Browns defense that we're gonna have to watch out for. But yeah, the one name that pops off the paper is most definitely Myles Garrett, man. Malone Garrett, bro. Like that bro. We gonna have to keep our eyes out. Which kind of leads us into our next segment. But before we do that, let's go back to the comments here. We got Tennessee Kid 90, also my wife, guys. She commented on here. She said, "Can't wait for tomorrow's game." So yeah, that's gonna be awesome to actually get to sit down with the wife and watch that game. But yeah, real quick, we got Matt back here, bro. What's your thoughts on who do you think is the most who's key players on the Browns defense? Sorry, I was kind of slipping up there.
The key players the main one, obviously, Myles Garrett. Yeah, I'm not super great with like the names and things like that as far as the players go. I know they got a couple of good people in their secondary as well. But yeah, definitely, like I said, Myles Garrett is definitely the one that comes to mind. Like Maddox said, he's a monster. He has been in the league for however many seasons now. So hopefully, our O-line is at least up for his challenge. And like I said, I apologize. I'm not up to date with names and things like that. But
hey, man, look, don't apologize. I don't call out people's names because I literally that is one thing I struggle with is pronouncing people's names.
Yeah.
So I actually got the list of everybody pulled up right here on my phone. So that's what I was actually looking at, and I'm like, man, I don't even want to attempt trying to say half these names.
Yeah.
But they got, their secondary, they got Thornhill, they got Grant, they got Emerson, they got Newsome, so those are some of the guys that, we're going to have to keep our eyes out on. This is definitely going to be a challenge for, not only the Titans offensive line, but as well as Tannehill. We seen kind of week one, Tannehill just not looking poised in the pocket. Not going through his progressions right, forcing the ball into double coverage. We seen week two, him taking some unnecessary sacks there. However, he did bounce back. So, let's tip our cats to him because week one, he had the worst game of his career. And then week two, literally the best game of his career. But, the real challenge for Tannehill is coming up, facing another top defense like he did when we faced the Saints. So, first of all, do you think that our offensive line will have struggles against this defense?
Yes and no. Like I said, if I know Garrett plays on the one side, but if they decide to nitpick at our weaknesses on one side or the other side of our line that they're noticing, then yeah, obviously we're going to have a problem. We all know that Tannehill likes to hold the ball. That's not a good thing. I would much rather him, get rid of it instead of get hit, which I'm sure we all feel that same way. But it's definitely a possibility. But I also know, our Titans are very gritty, and they use certain things that happen throughout the game as a motivation to get back at it and get back on top and take over and do what they got to do to win. So, hopefully our offensive line and the whole team are on the same page and they feel the same.
Yeah. How about you, Maddox, man? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I'm big on games. Man, you're gonna have to come up. I think the secondary is going to show us something tomorrow. John Watson is awful. He's absolutely lost. And like ever since he came back, he's been completely lost. Like I haven't been worried about Deshaun Watson at all. That's not my concern. My concern was Nick Chubb. My concern is gone. So yeah, man, I think that the game's gonna definitely be won in the trenches, man. Watch it at the nose of the ball, man. Whoever's coming off that line faster, man, gets in the backfield, gets a couple sacks, maybe a turnover. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with both y'all there. I think at the end of the day, when you look at this matchup we have going into tomorrow, The Cleveland Browns definitely have a solid defense. Definitely up front with Myles Garrett. It's going to be a good competition between their defensive front and our offensive line. And then Tannehill versus that secondary. It's gonna be one for the ages. It's gonna be a defense heavy game. Like Maddox said, this game is definitely gonna be won in the trenches. So I mean, let's continue breaking this matchup down, guys. So Browns offense, man. With the loss of Chubb, and then you got Deshaun Watson not playing as good as he used to. What does the Cleveland Browns have to offer their fan base and their organization on offense?
Yeah, man. Watson been definitely off his game, but we know what Watson can be. We've seen him against the Titans before. Watson has done well against us in past years. That was with the Texans, of course, but he does have a young receiving group. He's got Amari Cooper out there. The addition of Kareem Hunt back to the office. Hunt knows the offense. He's been there before. So maybe that'll, help him out a little bit. I've been there before. We'll see, though. Like I said, man, we got that front four in Tennessee, and they're going to come after you.
Yeah. What about you, Maddox?
Yeah.
Matt, sorry.
No, I mean, he said it really. They would have to – the Browns would have to put together one heck of a masterpiece, in my opinion, to be able to just take over a game against us, or even kind of how it happened in week 1 where we lost by 1 point against the Saints. I don't see the Titans going in there and just getting field goals the whole game. You know what I mean? Not against the Browns, in my opinion. Not against their defense. And I don't see their offense going against ours and putting up a whole bunch of points. So, like I said earlier, I hope they all go in there with the right mindset and ready to win,
Yeah, me too, man. Come out of this 2-1 would be nice. I said it last week. It'd be nice to hit the bye week at 5-1. So hopefully that's what happens. So let me ask y'all this. With the 2 games that we've gotten from the Tennessee Titans so far this year, one of the things we've seen consistently is the struggle in the secondary. So is the secondary actually the Achilles heel for this Tennessee Titans offense, or do we think it's something else like the offensive line? And, so what's y'all's thoughts on the Titans secondary?
Yeah, secondary definitely needs work. But while I say that they're inexperienced together, I'd say there's not a lot of chemistry there. There's a few guys that have been together for a few years. You have Kevin Byard and Hooker. But when you look at our secondary, man, week 1, they looked lost and confused. Week 2, they looked a lot better against the Chargers team that can absolutely torch down the field. They have a lot of explosive players, man. Justin Herbert's a $40 million quarterback. That's a guy that will torch you for 4 or 5 touchdowns a game if you let him. So definitely saw a bunch of improvement last week from our secondary. I wouldn't say they're our Achilles heel because I'd say that the secondary and the O-line troubles, they kind of balance each other. I'd say they're kind of 50-50. So, I'd say there's definitely room for improvement still, but I'd say give them time. Don't freak out. Don't panic yet. Kevin Byard's a great leader. So, man, I think they'll improve as the season goes on, and we'll see the same kind of gritty Titans defense that we've seen in past years.
I agree with you. How about you, Matt? What's your thoughts on the secondary?
Yeah, and one point I can take from him that he said is that, the chemistry is not exactly what it could be right now, and there's definitely improvements that can be made. In my opinion, especially in the quarterback position for us, cornerback in the cornerback position for us. I'll get it eventually. But like he was saying, it's there's 11 players out there on defense. You know what I mean? It's not just one or 2 or 3 players. Yes, we have our key players, but they all have to be able to come together, put their heads together, have the right mindset, the same game plan each play. And, just that's the whole reason they go out there and practice every week. You know what I mean? Go out there and put that together, come together as a team. And, that's when you get to see the awesome runs happen and the playoff runs and the Super Bowl and things like that. So
talk about it some more, bro. I mean, dude, like y'all, both of y'all, like, yeah, y'all are absolutely right. One thing I would say when it regards to our secondary and what we've seen so far is like along the lines of what y'all said. It's still very early in the season. The players are trying to learn how to gel together. Learning different call outs, stuff like that. I'll say this: I'm not too worried about the secondary being the Achilles of this team. And my reasoning behind that is if you go back and you watch that game in overtime, what stood out to y'all the most? It was the 3-and-out by the Titans defense. And what stood out in that, it was the fact that there was nobody for the Chargers to throw the ball to. Why? Because our boys did their job. And so all it's going to take is just a few more times of them getting used to that and stringing together consistency. That's a key word here, consistency. We hear Vrabel talk about it. We need to put together a consistent game, in all three phases. So, once they start stringing together that consistency, and especially in this secondary, bro, I believe, and I'm going to stick to my guns on this. I said it at the beginning of the year before preseason. I believe we're looking at a top 3 defense, by the Tennessee Titans for sure.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, for sure. I could see that, man. We've already got 7 sacks on the season, so.
Yep, bro. Ooh. I mean, our front is it's no joke. Like if you're an opposing team on the Tennessee Titans schedule this year and you are not afraid of our defensive front, I can't wait to face you. That's all I gotta say.
Let me ask you this: do you think it's crazy to think that the Titans set a record in sacks tomorrow?
No, I don't think it's crazy. I think it's definitely in the realm of possibilities. Especially, like I said, I think tomorrow's game literally is set up for the Titans defense to have a shining day, man. Like, they're going to come out on all fronts, whether it's the secondary, whether it's the defensive front. They're going to shine. This offensive line we're facing is not a good offensive line. So I think we're going to see, our defensive front feast a lot. And then as well as our secondary, I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing a couple INTs coming our way, with Kevin Byard and, Amani Hooker's back. So it'd be cool to see him actually get involved and get a couple INTs. So I think it's going to be, like I said, a defense-heavy game, but it's definitely going to be one that's solely leaned towards the Titans, in my opinion.
Right. The thing I love as of late, the last, I guess since Vrabel's gotten there, is that the tenacity of our defense and their way of just going for the ball and how they just go for them turnovers has really showed, because like you said, about usually – the last 3 or 4 seasons, about game 3, 4, 5, and then as it goes on, we start getting like 1 pick a game, or maybe even 2 or 3, or like 1 or 2 fumbles and things like that. So, I definitely agree with that take as well.
Yeah, man. It's typical Vrabel fashion. That as the game goes on, we get better, and as the season goes along, we get better. So it's like I said, man. That's a great question by Maddox there. I definitely think it's in the realm of possibilities, man.
And back to the secondary real quick before you move on from that, man. I will say this: if you go back to week 1, in the final drive of the game when the Saints were moving the ball, after they got the first down, the killer, the dagger, that was it. There was no stopping the clock, no more getting the ball back. It was done with at that point. If you go back and look at that tackle, the ball was jarred out.
Yeah.
They never quit. We never quit. The defense never gave up on the game. Even after the dagger, even after, he got the first down, now we can't stop the clock. They know that in their head, I'm sure. That's a thing that they're aware of. They know what they have to go out there and do. But they still didn't quit, man. So that's why I say let's not give up on this secondary yet. They're young, they're hungry, and I think they're gritty, man.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there, man. If you're worried about the secondary, then your focus is on the wrong part of this team. Yeah. I'd be more concerned with the O-line than I would be the secondary right now. And I'm not sitting here saying, we need to press the panic button like last year on this O-line, because I think we have a better O-line than we did last year. Do I think it's light years better than the one we had last year? Not so much. you know, as of right now. But again, we are missing a couple key players, and especially in this game. We're missing Peter. We're missing NPF, you know, who's out on a 6-game suspension. Do I think we'll see improvement, you know, throughout, you know, the growth of the season? Yes. You know, this offensive line will definitely grow the more they get a gel and play together. Experience and reps, man, that's where it counts the most.
You know, you got Brewer playing center right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, he's short, too.
Yeah. Like, we're working with
people gang.
He's like, let me adjust my pillow underneath it real quick.
Hey, hang on. No, I'm playing. Oh, man. So, no, we actually talked about this when Mr. Titan was on, you know, because my nephew, Noah, plays center for his high school football team. So Mr. Titan's like, hey, man, you might want to go to Cleveland and play center for us. I was just like, my nephew's like, well, dang, I ain't much taller than our center now.
Can't too much worse, though. I mean, he'll be okay.
Right?
Give him a little pep talk, you know.
Hey, when there's a will, there's a way.
That's right, man. So, guys, I mean, you know, we talked about the secondaries, we talked about the defense. Let's talk about the quarterbacks real quick. Deshaun Watson versus Ryan Tannehill. Who has the better game out of the two? Which one do y'all think is going to go out there and be able to put up the most touchdowns, you know, the most passing yards? Who would you lean on? And, you know, whether it's Watson or Tannehill, who do you think is set up for the most success tomorrow?
Oh, man. It's got to be Tannehill as far as the roster goes and just, you know, the scenario and everything. Cleveland's coming on, you know, off of a terrible game, a horrible game for them, you know, with injuries, with stats, just the game, just everything. The whole thing was terrible. So we definitely have momentum. Tannehill played really efficient last week. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest game ever by a quarterback. No, that's way better. But he played, like I said last week, good enough to get us the win. Played super efficient, played smart football. So I'd say Tannehill tomorrow. I'm not going to go against it and say that he doesn't turn the ball over tomorrow because the Browns have a nasty secondary. They do. It's going to be a lot of like week one, I feel like, you know, but he's going to have to play really smart, man. He's just going to have to play smart, just like he did against Morgato.
Yeah, man. What's your thought, Matt?
Yeah, so, you know, again, like I've been saying, that being said, you know, we have seen games where Tannehill's only thrown for 80 yards and we still got the win. So as far as quarterback stat comparison, if somehow, like, you know, the secondary got brought up, if for some reason that they're seeing things over our defense, finding zones and things like that, and his Watson's stats end up better than Tannehill's, I would take that as long as we get the W at the end of the day and the right play calls and the right systems are being ran and things like that. So as far as the stat comparison goes, you know, I believe, and I want, you know, obviously I want to see Tannehill go out there and carry on that same momentum he did from the Chargers game and keep that same mentality, the same focus, and go out there and throw that ball down the field and make the right plays, you know. And then as far as Watson goes, like Maddox said, you know, he had a really rough week 2 game against the Steelers. You know, hopefully, you know, that same situation, you know, he also brought up earlier that Watson, you know, he hasn't really looked the same since he came back, you know. So I definitely see Tannehill being the better quarterback. And, you know, like I said, hopefully whatever the stat comparison is at the end of the game, as long as we get the W, I'm going to be cool with it. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. You know, I agree 100% with y'all there. I think, you know, stat-wise, you know, Tannehill, as of right now, is set up for the most success out of the two quarterbacks. You know, I think Deshaun Watson is, you know, was a great quarterback and still possibly could be. I don't know what's going on in his head, but, you know, of course, everybody's able to knock the rest off eventually. But, I mean, he's had a lot of time to knock his rest off. Just hopefully, you know, if that rest ever gets knocked off, it's not against us because that would suck. But Yeah, I think as of right now, with what we've seen from both teams, we've seen more life from, the Titans offense than we really did the Cleveland Browns offense.
Yeah.
Granted,
aside from Nick Chubb.
Yeah, aside from Nick Chubb. Now I will say this, here's the only thing that gives me hesitation on leaning in towards Tannehill, getting the edge above Watson, stat wise. And, maybe y'all can kind of talk about this as well, but, my one hesitation is last week, they faced the Steelers. The Steelers has a killer defense. I mean, that defense is no joke. I said this to Mr. Titan, that, that defense is making me sweat that game coming up against them. And, especially thinking of our offensive line, TJ Watt will feast on us that day. And that's just being honest. Like, I hate saying that because I don't want to see sacks. I don't want to see anything like that. But T.J. Watt is a force, just like his brother J.J. Watt. So, that would be my only hesitation is, I can't really base my judgment of their offense off of that game fully because that defense is just lights out, just like the Saints. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. Really, I don't think that the Browns have the offensive line to hold up with our defense. But like with what I've seen from Watson last week against the Steelers, he could definitely be more mobile than Tannehill. I think he's got him beaten that aspect of it. Maybe that'll help him, coming into this week, having that bad game like that, and, getting that out of the way. As that's what my dad used to say. He's a big UK basketball fan. So like every year when they would lose, that early game, he'd be all right. They want to get that out of the way. I'm like, what? They want to lose? He's like, yeah, he wants them to lose so they know that they can be beat, or whatever. But whatever it is, like that type of stuff, like steel sharpens steel or whatever they say. Adds fuel to the fire. Like maybe that progresses him back to what he was in Houston. Maybe it's just, signs of more things to come, but I'm definitely excited for tomorrow, man. I think we're going to have a crazy game, so.
Yeah, I agree. Matt, do you have anything you want to say, man?
Yeah, I definitely agree with your take. It's very hard to compare what our defense may be doing compared to Watson's game against the Steelers, but that being said, I would like to say I feel like our defense and especially our D line has that same like come at you mentality. So I feel comfortable with going into this game knowing that they struggled last week against the Steelers defense, knowing that the Titans defense can be that or even better than the Steelers defense last week.
Let's go. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I agree 100%. Like I said, I like to ask these questions and, kind of I tend to overthink things, but I like that because then we literally get to cover every aspect of the game, both sides, from our opponents to our team, through the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole 9 yards. But with us talking about the quarterbacks and offense, how can the Tennessee Titans become more explosive on the offense? What are some things they can do to maybe get more explosive plays, and help, start putting up more than just, 2 or 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that the other night, man. And a big thing that popped up to me was the explosive play to Burks against the Chargers, that deep pass. Got to have more stuff like that. The play action, I'm pretty sure it was the Chris Moore play. It's like a 49-yard pass. I'm pretty sure that was play action. And while it was still, pretty good defense or whatever, it was a perfectly thrown ball, great catch, great play all the way around. I think Tim Kelly's got to use more of that play action tomorrow, and just utilize that against the Browns. I think the Browns are going to look for us to run it, That's our bread and butter. That's what we do. We run the ball. We're Derrick Henry, we're smash mouth football. We're going to come at you and we're going to run the ball. So definitely, I think that we could utilize the play action more. And big time Burks, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Big time Burks.
Big time Burks, moneymaker.
Yeah. Gotta get the guy involved, man. You know what I'm saying? So, he's shown us, man, consistently that he can make these big plays for us.
He needs to get out there and just start. Hey, be like Stewie. Where my money at? Where my money at?
Yeah, with the gun. Where my money, fool?
Where my money?
Got 48 my money, man. Coming back more. No, man. I love Burks, man. I think he's gonna be great. I just think that we have to utilize him more. I don't think that solely, lies on Tannehill being a bad quarterback or having a bad game or whatever it is. I think Tannehill's an okay quarterback for us, but you got to get the ball to your playmakers, and Burks is a playmaker, and he's going to be a playmaker for us. I get we have D-Hop. I'm super excited about D-Hop, but let's use Burks and, some of these younger guys to maybe make D-Hop's job just a little bit easier. He's not Superman. He can't just catch everything.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there, man. And then, let's kind of look at a matchup offensively versus defensively. We got, and it's not the players, so let's bring up, once again, we're going to talk about Tim Kelly versus Jim Sorts. Of course, Jim Sorts used to be with the Titans for a few years. Now he's a defensive coordinator with the Cleveland Browns. He knows a lot about the Titans' schemes. He knows a lot about this offense, players. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on this matchup between them, and who do you think's going to edge out, in this game? Who do you think's going to take the edge? Is it going to be Tim Kelly or Jim Sorts?
Oh, man. Talking about both of them wearing milk-bone tennis shoes, man, it's going to be a dogfight. Because you got to think Watson knows a lot about the Titans, and then you got Schwartz, he knows a lot about the Titans. So Tim Kelly's got his hands full tomorrow, man. But I think, with the offensive coaching and then, the defensive coordinator on the Brown side, I think a lot of that's going to tie into, how well the playmakers on the field actually progress and actually perform out there tomorrow. We've seen guys on our team, drop passes, open balls, just, easy stuff, Things don't go right, but I'm definitely still going to roll with Tim Kelly, man. I think he showed us flashes last week that he could be a way offensive coordinator than he was in week one. I feel like week one for us was just a bunch of all right, let's see what works. Let's see what we want to do.
Bunch of tests and trials, man.
Yeah, let's see what happens. It worked out terribly.
Yeah.
So we kind of, went away from that. Now we're doing something else. But what we're doing now, I think it's going to work, man. I think it's smart football. I think it's efficient. I think it's going to stick with it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree 100% with you there, man. I think Tim Kelly will definitely kind of edge out Jim Sorts here. It's gonna be a rough one for him. I'm not gonna say it's gonna come easy, and it's definitely, in my opinion, this game is not gonna be a blowout. Now, my mind will be blown if we blow them out. I will say that.
They said they want to go to the dog pound. We got a dog fight coming in.
Yeah, we got a dog fight. T-Rex is gonna come ready to feast. So, man, I'm really excited. We got Matt back here, so let's ask him, man. Matt. We're talking about the matchup between Tim Kelly and Jim Sorts, former Titans coach. What's your thoughts on that? Who do you think edges out?
Yeah, and like I said, like I keep saying, I agree with Matt. Tim Kelly definitely showed a different side compared to week one, week two against the Tigers. Sports, there's definitely a lot of history there, as far as he goes with the Titans, and like Maddox said, with Watson and the Titans being on the Texans prior to the Browns. Just gotta be strategic, and I hope with Rand, I know he don't necessarily have much to do with the play calling during the games, but with Rand Vrabel out there on the field, having something to do with play calls, and Tim Kelly, I feel like we're going to have the advantage.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, and Maddox kind of referred to this earlier. We seen Tim Kelly kind of start to step out of that shell, and really kind of string together some good play calls. I think it was good that we seen more of Derrick Henry and less of Spears. I've said it all along. Henry is key to this offense. Henry is key to Ryan Tannehill's success as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we need to keep seeing a healthy dose of that. I also think Spears is very beneficial to this team at the same time. So it's good to see Spears still get some snaps, but we need to continue to rely on Henry. You know, we don't even have to do the run, pass thing anymore, you know. But as long as we're seeing a healthy number, you know, coming from Henry, and, you know, it's going to work itself out. So, yeah, I agree with y'all. You know, Tim Kelly takes the edge over Jim Sorts here.
Hey, back to the Spears comment real quick, man. Shout out to Super Bowl Clowny, man. Much love for the little comments and stuff, man. I remember you shout out Spears last. Yeah, man. Shout out to Super Bowl Clowny, man. I know you got there.
Yep. Clowny Super Bowl, man. Yeah. He felt, if y'all go back and check out What's Shaking Titans on YouTube, you can catch our episode from last week, episode 8 with Titans Rossi. Clowny definitely felt as though Spears is the new feature back for the Tennessee Titans, and that we need to see more of Spears and less of Henry. And, you know, on a healthy level, I completely disagree. But, I mean, hey, I respect everybody's opinions and thoughts, man. And I don't care who it's from, what it's about. You know, come on here. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us your opinions. We love to hear them. You know, we love to talk about them. Whether we agree or disagree, guys, it's okay. This is a healthy environment. We're like a family here. You know, so with that being said, man, yeah, I had to disagree. We don't call King Henry for nothing, you know. Yeah, man. So I see Matt wearing that Henry jersey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually.
Dog, I actually got to go to a private dinner with Henry, me and my wife, man. We got to meet. This is before his 2,000-yard season, so I actually got autographed football from him as well. So yeah, bro, man, you talking about awesome, dude. And like, I'm like 6 foot, and I rarely have to look up to people. The whole entire time, I'm like, dear Lord. So this is how my sisters feel. Oh man. So guys, let's continue on here. We're almost done with tonight's episode. With all this being said, guys, what are 3 keys to victory here? Let's get both of y'all's 3 keys, and then I'll give my 3 keys. So whichever one of y'all want to take it first, let's hear your 3 keys to victory.
Okay. I'll start off. My 3 keys are definitely going to be offense, our whole offense. You know, obviously running, take advantage of play action, take advantage of pass plays in general. I feel like Simmons is going to have a good game. I believe Autry's playing. I feel like him and also Tart as well will all 3 definitely have a good game. That would be my second one. Third key would be turnovers. Let's get that defense to get some turnovers.
Yeah. How about you, Maddox?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna say efficiency. Last week, Tannehill played super efficient. He played smart football, limited his turnovers. Got my mini-me down here. Little blue down here. Gonna say hi.
Say hi. Say hi to the Titans Nation.
Titan Nation watching right now, all of them. All 1,000,000,511,000. Yeah, man. I'm gonna say efficiency. Efficiency from Tannehill. Tannehill's going to be a huge key to our game tomorrow. Can he play smart? Can he keep the ball away from the ground? Run the ball, man. Just as we've always done, man. Can we get Derrick Henry going again? Can we keep him going? I think we will. You got to think when it comes to the Titans, man, whether we've had an O-line or not, man, which last year we did it, but you still saw Derrick Henry have those games where he broke out. There was a game against the Texans, in Nashville last year. He had a huge run and, absolutely torched him down the field. He was headed straight towards us, actually. We were sitting right there on the wall. He's like, come straight at us. It was like a train coming at you. But, yeah, man, running the ball tomorrow, and then our secondary. So, yeah, I'd say the secondary is definitely going to have to watch out for Watson, man. He's got some weapons. Like I said, yeah, the loss of Chubb hurts, but they added back in Hunt. Hunt knows the offense pretty well, so definitely watch that secondary tomorrow on our side of the ball. And yeah, that's what I got for you, man.
Awesome, man. I love both of y'all's keys right there. So, guys, my keys to victory for tomorrow is going to be I'm going to give y'all 3 keys. And the first key is consistency. Consistency through all 3 phases: offense, special teams, and, of course, defense. Let's go out there. Let's play consistent football, all 4 quarters. Let's, defensively, I'm going to start with the defense. Defensively, we got to consistently get pressure on Deshaun Watson. The less time we give him in that pocket, the better it's going to be for us defensively. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And secondary, guys, stick to your guys. When you have an opportunity to, cause a disruption or tip a ball or even, intercept a ball, let's do it. If you get your hands on that ball, come down with it, Go ahead.
Yeah, make a play.
Yeah, make a play, man. And then my second key to victory here, guys, is going to be our offensive line. We have to protect Tannehill. We have to allow him to have time in the pocket. I really don't want to see him having to run 10 yards back and take a sack. I'd rather see him throw the ball away. But, guys, we got to give him more, consistent time to find an open receiver downfield. And then my third key to victory here is Henry once again. What did we see, last week? Well, we started out seeing our offense start out sluggish. And then once King Henry got put in and they hit that play action pass to oh my gosh, Traylon Burks. Traylon Burks would have never came open had Henry not been on that field, because that defense bit on Henry on that play action pass. And that's the one thing that we get from Henry that we don't get so much from Tyjae Spears yet, because, honestly, I feel like the league isn't really worried about Spears like they are Henry, because at any point and any time, Henry's going to take it to the house on you, and maybe throw a few bodies to Mars while he's at it. So, right. Josh Norman's still floating around out there somewhere. So
yeah, you notice he's out of the league now.
Right.
And may I add an honorable mention to a key play?
Yeah, go right ahead, bro.
Can we please have the referees call this game fair and square?
That is a very honorable mention. I accept 100%. Preach it, brother. I mean, we got to have some better play calling by these refs. We need consistency from the refs. Exactly. So keys to the game: consistent refereeing, please. Yeah.
Somebody call Jerome Berger or something.
Oh man. All right, guys. So we're about to head out of here, but before we do, as always, we're going to give our final game day score prediction. Maddox, you want to take it away?
Yeah, man. I think Titans shut down the Browns. I got this one at a lopsided victory for us, kind of in a way. I got Titans winning 24-10 tomorrow, man. 24-10 from Maddox. And how about you, Matt?
All right. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say a 31-12. 31-12.
31-12. So he's going out on a limb, and it's going to be a blowout by the Titans. And then, guys, I'm going 21-14. I think it's going to be a one-score game. I think it's going to be a real defensive-heavy, real gritty game. It's going to be Titans football yet again. Just like we've been seeing, for consistently from this Titans team over the last year and a half. So, that's where I'm going with it. Although my fingers are crossed that Matt wins this one. So,
yeah, I like it, man. I like it.
I like it a lot, bro.
I'm messing with. Hey, if it happens, it happens, man. Yeah. But just in case, if it comes down to it, man, just know we got Nick Folk over there, man. So.
Yep. Hey, best move by the Titans so far this offseason.
Thing that I posted on Facebook or not, it's like a picture of Nick Folk, and it was like Folk around and find out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I got t-shirts and everything now.
Yeah. Bro, yeah. So, real quick, want to give another huge shout out to James Ryan, who was with us when we started this episode. Unfortunately, he got a call. He had a death in the family. Once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to him. But if you go check out Art by James Ryan on Twitter, Man, you can see, during that game, he actually tweeted out a shirt. It said "poke around and find out" or whatever it said. But dude, that literally took off. So now there's mugs, there's shirts, hoodies. I'm just like, dang, like that's hilarious.
I love it.
But yeah, guys, once again, just want to give him a huge shout out. And our thoughts and prayers and condolences are with you and your family right now. And then, guys, with all that being said, we got a huge announcement for tomorrow. Maddox, do you want to talk about it?
Huge announcement.
Yeah, tomorrow after the game.
Oh man, we got the biggest show coming live to you. About 30 minutes after the game, you're gonna have me and Gary Bailey here, man. We're gonna be live. We're gonna come at you with the post-game show, giving you all the intel on the game tomorrow, man. We're gonna have the final score, stats, key plays, and a lot more coming up, man. And a little bit of talk about the B game coming from Bengals. Man. Ready for that one? Let's go!
Let's go! Yeah, man. Look, hey, we're gonna bring the energy tomorrow. Of course, we're gonna be fired up, adrenaline running through the roof after this game. So we're gonna bring a very energetic a very energetic podcast to y'all. So, man, I'm really looking forward to doing our post game recap. And who knows, we might have a new /special co-host with us as well. So we'll try and put that in the works and see how that works out. So, man, floor's open, guys. Final thoughts, last words. What do y'all got?
No, like I said earlier, man, it's an honor to be a part of this. It's great. It's a great thing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. You did awesome. Really love your takes, man. I think it was awesome having you on. So yeah, I'm really glad Maddox was there, and we got to not only meet you, but yeah, man, it'd be awesome to have you a part of the team. So like I said, once we get done with this, we'll chit chat about that. Maddox, final thoughts?
Yeah, man. I'm just ready for game day tomorrow, man. I'm super excited for this one. I'm ready to see what this defense does against the Browns. I don't think they're going to hold up, man. So, I'm excited about that. I do want to add something in super quick, man. I appreciate the opportunity for being on the podcast, man. It's been super fun. Can't wait for what else we get into, man. I feel like we're just going to take off from here. But with that being said, I have my own personal mission that I'm on right now, which is to win Titans Fan of the Year. So last year it was Spider Titan. The year before that it was Stephanie. And then the year before that it was Brandon Galloway. So this year I'm trying to make it Blueface. I am up against some pretty honorable competition. So, some guys that have been out there for a while and stuff like that. But if you guys do want to nominate me, you guys can go to NFL.com/honors, go to Fan of the Year. It's Matthew Maddox. My birthday is September the 26th, 1996. And my email is mattmaddox2@gmail.com. That's all the info you need to nominate me. You can put your own little story with it, whatever like that. If you guys have pictures with me, you can put that on there as well. But yeah, I appreciate all the love and support from everybody, man. It's been super awesome. Like I said, I've only been doing Blueface for about a year, and it's just blown up super big and just bigger than what I ever thought it could be. So it's been awesome, man.
Definitely, guys, go on over and to NFL.com. Vote for Matthew Maddox to be a Titan super fan of the year. He definitely deserves it. Man, you got my vote right there, brother. So, like he said, he's facing some big competition here, guys. So if you don't mind, please hop on over there. Give our boy Matthew Maddox from What's Shaking Titans a huge vote, guys. We definitely appreciate it. And then, guys, like we always say, getting out of here, take care and tighten up.
Tighten up! Let's go!
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the...
This episode of What's Shaking Titans is powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue.
You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity. Tennessee, it's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Step it up, don't be
Tighten up, y'all. Cleats clacking in the tunnel, about to be a fight. Blue crew is running through, dang, our team is tied. T-Rex looking hungry, must be time to eat. Let's kick it off and bring this rowdy crowd to their feet and tighten up, tighten up. Hey Nashville, we're Tennessee, tough, get tough. You can find us everywhere, all across the nation. Rise to the occasion. Tennessee, it's time to